Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster and welcome back to another episode of Lake Willis. We're in the second episode now and I got a bit bored of the B&M dive coaster. I'll be coming back to that later on in the series. On the last episode someone commented, I don't remember who it was, but someone commented I should do like a launch coaster with a Chinese theme. So that got me thinking, what can I do with that, like a launch coaster with a Chinese theme? So I started thinking about these ideas in my head. I started thinking about Taron and Taron's rockwork, and maybe change Taron's theming and rockwork to a Chinese theme. So this is what I've come up with, really. You see me now doing not necessarily Taron's rockwork, it's similar to Taron's rockwork, but this is actually mainly based on Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, I think. I know it's not really Chinese, but I feel like this kind of rockwork would just fit in with most themes, really. You just have to change the colour a little. I feel like the only themes this rockwork wouldn't fit in would be like a Wild West theme or like a Victorian London theme, something like that. So yeah, so this is basically just what I'm doing with the rockwork. Just, a lot of people think doing this kind of rockwork in Planet Coaster takes time, but it really doesn't. All you need to do is just make a random stack of wooden column pieces. You saw me how I did it there. I did like a hexagonal wooden column piece, and you just stack them all up on each other, and you can just duplicate them, copy and paste them. It takes like 5-10 minutes to do, really, and it can make such a massive difference. Now, with Taron being said, you see me doing some diagonal rock pieces, but I felt like that didn't really fit. I wanted to keep it more Giant's Causeway with just the vertical hexagonal rocks. I feel like it just works better like that, if you get what I mean. I like it like that. I don't really like it not hexagonal, diagonal like Taron is, if you get what I mean. But here you'll see me do the track supports. Now, I know the track colour and the colour scheme of the coaster doesn't look great at the moment, but I do change it to like all black, which is, Taron later on in the episode. So yeah, just doing these coaster support pieces. Now, I went onto the workshop to find some pieces for supports and all that. Of course, we got the in-game supports, but the connectors to the track for the supports aren't really that good. We've only got B&M ones and I think arrow ones as well, and that's about it, really. So there's these really good connectors on the Steam Workshop, on the Theme Maker's Toolkit Workshop, and it's an Intamin track connector mixed in with a Mac track connector. I know it's not necessarily Gerstlauer, but it will do. It will do. At the end of the day, if you want these track connectors, I will put a link in the description. You'll just see me here, do them here as well. There's the Mac track connector with the Intamin one, and then finally the Gerstlauer supports. Now, I did look a lot into how Gerstlauer supports are done, and yeah, they do basically look like this. They have that little thing, like what would you call it, like something at the top, just above the track connector. The support doesn't like directly connect to the track connector. The track connector more or less branches off of the support, if you get what I mean by that. But yeah, so that's basically what I've done here. It does look like Intamin supports, I do have to say, but I did look quite a bit on Google Images, and this is what they look like, really. So yeah, just keep on doing these supports. I've only decided to do the supports in this section and leave the rest of the coaster for the rest of the project, because I'm not really onto that sort of part yet. I'm only just doing this front area where it comes out to launch straight. And well, whilst I'm doing this, I want to talk a bit about what the story of this coaster is, what the actual theme is. Of course, I've said the theme is Chinese, but what exactly is it? So I've come up with this idea of, you're on the launch straight, you're sitting there on the launch straight, and there's like a dragon there, he breathes fire, and then you launch through that heartline roll just there and into the circuit. And then I want to do like a main central theming structure of a Chinese dragon. You like breathes fire, like what's it, the dragon on top of Gringotts at Universal, like that, but you know, obviously a Chinese dragon. Because you know, Chinese dragons, you know, they're different to normal dragons, really, they're really long. So yeah, that's basically what I want to do with this coaster. Of course, doing more of the supports. In terms of an actual story, haven't really got anything yet. If you do have any suggestions for the story, you know, right now it's just going to be about this dragon breathing fire making you go down the launch tray. It's going to be a Chinese theme, so if anyone comes up with a story, please just put it in the comments and I might consider it at the end of the day, because I don't really plan on doing an actual story for this coaster. And this is, you know, like I said in the last episode, this is what I want Lake Willis to be. I want it to be like Phantasialand, you know, a very, very small park, but absolutely amazing theming. Not the best of rides, but amazing theming. That's what I want this park to be, which is why I've made this coaster purposely short. You might see that as well. The coaster is very, very short compared to Taron, but I feel like it does suit this park quite well. Of course, I'm putting down some normal rocks here, just, you know, just to get a variation, a variety of rocks, because I don't just want it to be these hexagonal wooden column pieces acting as rock work, because then that just looks a bit plain and bare. And you know, putting these bushes in, it does make a massive difference. You know, if you just place these bushes randomly, not just in this vertical rock work I've done, but you know, any rocks, really, it does make quite a big difference. So yeah, just doing that really, and I think, yeah, it's just this for the rest of the clip, and then we're going to be getting onto the Chinese facade building. And before, well, hang on, what am I going to do? So yeah, whilst we're doing this, let's just talk a bit about what's been going on with Frontier recently. And so most of you know, E3 was last weekend, and Frontier were there to show off some stuff about Planet Zoo. Now, Planet Zoo is a game I am rather excited for. I'm not excited for it as I was for Planet Coaster, but I suppose that's just because, you know, I'm more of a massive coaster enthusiast rather than an animal or zoo enthusiast, if you get me. But yeah, basically they showed off like a gameplay demo of Planet Zoo, and it looks really, really promising. But one thing I can't help but notice that was missing from that gameplay demo was building, you know, just the building element of the game. You know, they had stuff where you could place down scenery, but there was no actual, like, they didn't really show any proper building like you'll see me do here in Planet Coaster, where you got, you know, little pieces, tons and tons and tons of pieces to choose from, and you got the advanced move tool, and you know, you've got all these tools, but I didn't see that in the Planet Zoo gameplay demo, so I'm really hoping they just didn't really show it off, because I really, really would like that to be in the game, because it's such a great thing in Planet Coaster. It's, you know, one of the joys of Planet Coaster, that is, you know, selecting what parts you want to put in, you know, figuring out what parts can go where to make it look like this, because, you know, you don't, as, you know, every Planet Coaster player knows, you barely use the actual parts themselves as what they're supposed to be used for, like I just used a couple minutes ago with the wooden column pieces, and I used them as rock work, and that's one of the joys of Planet Coaster. So I really, really hope that it is going to be in Planet Zoo as well, because if it's not, I am going to be slightly disappointed at the end of the day. But apart from that, the other stuff of Planet Coaster, like the animals, the animals look absolutely amazing in Planet Zoo. They've done a fantastic job with the animals, I have to say. They put in so much detail to the animals, like the ear flicks, you know, the eyes blink, and the way the giraffes like sat down and stood up, and they've done a really, really good job of it, I have to say. So yeah, I'm very excited for Planet Zoo, but I do really, really want that building aspect to be in it like it was in Planet Coaster, because it's such a fun part of Planet Coaster, and it is going to take a lot away if it's not in Planet Zoo. Another thing I want to speak about whilst I'm doing this building is we've surpassed 1,000 subscribers. That is quite a big milestone, one I didn't really think would happen when I started this channel a year and a half ago now, nearly 2 years, Jesus. But yeah, so it's fantastic that we've reached 1,000 subscribers. I was really quite happy to see it on the day, and yeah, thank you very much for everyone who subscribed and watched the videos. I know, you know, there's a few people that constantly comment on every video that I do, and I always just like to see that they've tuned into the video, they've watched it, and they've, you know, it's good to like actually have an audience that sticks to watching your videos all the time, because, you know, when it's just, you know, people just watch 1 minute of a video and then click away, you know, because I can see that in my analytics how much of the video the audience has watched, and funny thing actually, I looked on the audience retention for the Wicker Man cinematic video, and most of the audience retention was around the POV. You know, people just skip to the POV, and, you know, yeah, the POV is the best part of it, but at least there were a lot of people who did watch the full thing all the way through. It's not to say I'm getting angry at people, not to say that, I know. It's just good to see that people actually do watch it, and it like does mean quite a lot at the end of the day. Because this is why I started this channel, really, just to, you know, put my place in the Planet Coaster community at the end of the day, to be honest. And yeah, thank you very much for subscribing. We've got to 1,000 subscribers, so yeah. Let's continue on this building. You've seen me in the past couple of minutes, I've done a building, well, a Chinese building. This isn't necessarily going to be a functional building, this is going to be a facade for a warehouse around the back, which is of course going to house the indoor section of the coaster, which is the launch straight and the heartline roll, and it's also where I want to put like a dragon animatronic, not the actual main theming structure, the dragon, no, not that, but just like a dragon animatronic, so the train launches and the dragon breathes fire, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I think, yeah, I used a lot of World's Fair pieces with this facade. The World's Fair pieces are actually quite useful. You know, some of the scenery themes in the World's Fair DLC weren't as useful as this was, but the Chinese pieces and the Japanese pieces are really, really, really good in the DLC. You know, they've been tremendous help, and yeah, so just doing this like cobblestone wall sort of thing. And once again, I have looked at a reference image. I think this is almost an exact copy of a reference image I looked at, where it had these layers of roofing. And then, why is Siri just opened up?
I don't know what that means. If you like, I can search the web for... This has almost cleared that copy of the reference images that I looked up. We had these layers of everything, then why is Siri just opened up?
Okay, thank you Siri for that. I didn't ask you for your opinion, but yeah, this is basically a direct copy of that reference image I used, and one thing I wanted to get really right was that this is a Chinese building, not a Japanese building. I'm not trying to say anything here, but Japanese buildings and Chinese buildings do have similar architecture, but Chinese buildings have more red on them, and Japanese buildings are more colour neutral, if you get what I mean. So I really wanted to make this look like a Chinese building. I want this to be a Chinese theme, much like Chinatown in Phantasialand as well, which has a Vekoma madhouse, I think. So yeah, I really wanted this to be an actual proper Chinese building that you can just look and say, yep, that is a Chinese building. It's not a Japanese building. I want it to be like that, where you can properly distinguish that this is a Chinese building. So yeah, just doing this part, of course, I did share a few screenshots on Bronation, and someone on Bronation, I can't remember who it was, I'm sorry, I think it might be, yeah, I think it might have been Blue Spirit on Bronation. He mentioned, you know, maybe make the colours a bit darker, maybe make these walls a bit darker, because before it was very bright colours, and I can see what he was saying. He also did say to change the track colour scheme, which of course I've done. So yeah, so tremendous help from Bronation once again. And yeah, this is basically going to be it for the rest of the video. There's only a couple of minutes left, and I think I might sign off here just so you can enjoy the last few minutes of the time lapse. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you do have any suggestions for Lake Willis, because I do want this to be a part where it's not just me building it, I want you people to come up with some ideas. Like this whole coaster was an idea put out by someone watching the previous episode. But yeah, if you have any ideas, please put them down below and I'll put them into the park if I think they're good. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.